do. Want it all, what you willing to do? Yeah, I gotta come off cold on this. I'm seeing through your facade. You don't want war with the God. I might relax with a bride and come back in barrage. Killed all that shit you spitting in the back of garage. Come through at the right time, just like a Minaj. Or you trying to get it all, what you willing to do? You gon' sip, lean in, pop a pill or two. We know you need.
What's up, I'm Crewsheff.
I'm Chris Crooks.
Welcome to Lynn's Playlist.
I know niggas with grams. Bitch, you don't need a man, go get you some bands. All I spit is real shit and then I lose them. Always get the wrong bitch and then I choose them. Shit, we was built for them losses, boy, we turned into lessons. Then got them right.
Okay, so Chris, who are you?
I am a young black male born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. Got the gift of gab really early and have a good knack for telling stories. I tell mine, I tell other people's, and people always tell me how they feel about it.
So, how did you come up with Chris Crooks? Was it like a nickname, or was it like you was playing around with hip hop and you know, I'm gonna name myself this? Or?
I had to come up with a name out of necessity. I had got like the bug for writing and recording real easy, and I had started doing songs and like doing freestyles and stuff like that, and like people would drop them and have to put my whole name because I didn't have no rap name yet. So I think once I kind of got more into the artistry of it, I started finding beats on myself and making more like original music. I had a horrible name. My name was Chris Mystic at first because I thought I was just like, I thought I was like lit for something. I don't know what I thought was going on.
That's my first time hearing
You know what I'm saying? My name was Chris Mystic. I don't know. I thought I was just like an anomaly, like I was, you know what I'm saying, different. And then when I got developed more into it, I found the Chris Crooks thing. I'm heavily influenced by Tupac. You know what I'm saying? I love everything he stood for musically as well as in life. He made bad decisions as a person, but as a man, he had a lot of character. And I was really influenced by them. Just to watch so many interviews. One of the great things about me being so young is I got to consume everything at once. So I could literally search and just find everything I needed to know, the good, the bad, the ugly. So I was so in the pocket. I kind of just wanted to be like an embodiment of what he stood for. So I took Crooks from his birth name. When he was born, his name was LaShawn Parrish Crooks. And and when he was still a baby, his mom had married Dr. Tamika Shakur and changed it to Lamar, who was an African king. So I couldn't be Chris Shakur. That was, you know what I'm saying? Chris Shakur wasn't gonna go. C-Pac wasn't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna take his original birth name to be Chris Crooks. As, you know what I'm saying? The embodiment, everything he stood for, the embodiment and rebirth of real music. Since it was his birth name, I took it as the rebirth of real music and being a real nigga. Whenever ignorant getting those accomplished.
Because when I heard you perform at the art show in hip hop, I thought you meant crook was for like how crooked your rhymes are to the basic of, you know, just rap.
Yeah, nah.
How is it a imprisonment to the next generation?
Yeah, nah. Since it's Crooks, like with an S at the end, I just kind of always tell people like it's like people who steal crooks.
Right.
Like, but yeah,
that's very interesting.
That's his birth name for sure.
That's something you can probably put in there like, oh, I'm this because.
Yeah, it always be cool when people like listening to me for some other reason and I tell them that like, yo, I knew it was a reason I fuck with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So how was it growing up in Cincinnati? Like what area did you grow up in?
Well, excuse me. My mother was raised in the downtown area. My father grew up in like the Wanda Hills area. So I kind of alternated between both those areas as well as like the west side, but mainly a lot of the time I spent with my dad in Wanda Hills when I wasn't with my mom. So my grandfather was actually one of the first people to own a house on that street over there in Wanda Hills and stuff like that. They were real rooted in the neighborhood. So I grew up on both ends kind of and was in the public school system after leaving the charter program. So. But it's different. Growing up in the Natty is just, we're different.
Yeah, we are.
We're different from everywhere else, man. And you really get to experience that when you go other places. I got lucky to be enough to like just travel. My grandmother always put us in different things, see different kind of stuff. But I mean, we're different culturally. We don't like what you like. We don't sound how you sound. We make up a word for everything.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like me and him have a lot of culture clashes because he's from Dayton.
Okay.
So like I say something when we first started hanging out, he'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Right.
I'm like, "Bro, I just said, hand me that." All I asked you to do was hand me the phone. I didn't say something completely different. So I love being from the Natty. The Natty, we got a real chip on our shoulder. We real hungry. That's why we excel in anything we get to, any little light we get to shine. And Natty goes crazy. That's what we built from.
Yeah. You know, being a music blogger for about 11 years, I see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first it wasn't as supportive to one another.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then just recently, about 5 years ago, we started getting into that. You start seeing a lot of people really supporting one another. I love it now.
Yeah.
Because we're not in the back no more, we're in the front now.
And I mean, and from what I've been told from older people who were around during that time, like the original group's name, shout out to my brother Jig, it was his father, and then we had like a little group. And then tech went so crazy, and around that time, until you got to the middle 2000s where music started having a little more of a bounce,
Right.
a lot of cats found their groove within that. There's a lot of cats who were 17, 18,
Right.
20 young cats who are now like in their later 20s and early 30s who don't realize they was making classic music from my era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I came up in the MySpace era where they were throwing the songs out and every song was a bounce and it was snapping. And you might not have knew the song downtown, but over in Westwood they know it. Or you might not know the song in one of the hills, but over down the street in Evanston it's going. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's always different like that. And it's still kind of like that now. The social media just ties it in to where everybody can rap. You know what I'm saying? And we get a lot of mediums now. It's a lot of outlets for things. So they know if they want to throw a show, they can go talk to Privilege and get something going. Or they can go talk to the Mockery and get something going and bring whoever's listening in one place. So it's a lot more unity. I feel like when people say the city ain't supporting you, it's because they're not good enough. Like if you were good, it wouldn't be an issue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or not even that. Your music could be good, but you don't connect or you're on network.
Yeah.
You're always in the house.
A lot of people don't know how.
A
lot of people don't know how.
Because social media make it awkward to be communicating one on one.
It does. I've interacted with cats, and I'm a kind of person, if I like your music, I'm going to be excited when I tell you. I'm going to tell you what you said that was hot that I like. I'm going to do all of that. So it's like, I had this exchange with some people that be like, oh.
And then you look like.
And I'm like, I don't think you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Some people just don't know. And I mean, I've always been able to capitalize on how personable I am. So it's like weird when other people don't have that, and you gotta realize everybody doesn't do what you think.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But I think they're trying, man. I think it's a lot of good unity in the city. Everybody likes each other. There's a lot of good music being made everywhere right now.
It is. My SoundCloud is jumping with everybody from that.
Yeah.
They jumping. Depending on what mood I'm in, I listen to
It's crazy because I have like a short rotation depending on like where I'm at, and I mean. Most of the stuff I listen to is local. Because, I mean, if it's good music here, we're not listening to it.
Exactly. So, let's talk about your album. Tell me about what you're willing to do. That's on your SoundCloud.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa.
What you willing to do? What you willing to do came together so crazy. Because it kind of like barely made the cut. I wrote What You Willing to Do on the way to the studio to record something else.
Really?
Yeah, and shout out to my engineer, Stefan. Stefan is always late everywhere. And said he was 5 minutes away, and I was waiting for 15 extra minutes. So I wrote it in that amount of time. You know what I'm saying? So he had sent it through, and I checked the email, and I had the car turned up, so I automatically just came in banging, and I was like, and I just took off.
So this is your producer?
Yeah, I wouldn't say my producer. He can produce for anybody, but we do make it. That we do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just think like I got Dev locked in a room making music for me or some shit. Nah, Dev was an artist way before he met me. Great dude, man. Very talented at what he does. He's produced for a bunch of different other artists like Easy Loco, Isai Morales from Day In, and I'm saying a few different other cats. Dev is an entity of his own, man. Very creative dude.
So you're from Dayton, right? So you said that how did y'all connect? If I missed that story, how did y'all connect? It was like through your
I
family.
was cleaning the crib on Sunday, 2015. Some random, just got on SoundCloud. I saw somebody had reposted his music. I gave it a play. I was listening to it, and when I heard Righteous, I just tried to find him on social media and just leave love. I think we got it. Sent him something on Snapchat or something. Emailed him some beats, and he just kept snapping me like him rapping to my beats, like every single beat that I sent him. Within 30 days, we had 2 songs. Within 30 days, we had like 2 songs.
We have a song that we done held on to, one of the first ones we did together. I didn't have a title for it, so normally when I have a title, I name it whatever the day is or what time it is or something, and it was 320. So we've had this March 20th song for 2 years now. We started cranking them out quick. You can tell he thinks about everything he's making. He's not just putting the thing together because it sounds right. There's an emotional connection there. Every sound, every single beat is like a little memory for him, and he just puts it in different places.
I like producers like that because producers like that, they put like you said, emotions to it. So that makes you have to bring out your emotions through the song. When people make songs nowadays, they don't put emotion and affection to it. They just make a song and then it is what it is.
Right.
You know, back then they put, even in hip hop, people don't know, but they put their feelings and emotions of what they went through into the
I feel
song.
like a lot of people don't really make the effort to communicate in their music anymore.
They don't.
I mean, just from production on up, if it sounds good, just throw it in there. All the drums sounding the same, all the voices sounding the same, and it's not like how it used to be. Like they dared to be different. That was the entire goal. And like you go back, like yesterday we were listening to Public Enemy, and then we transitioned into Ice Cube, and like the tie between them is the Bomb Squad. And the Bomb Squad as producers made sure that they communicated to the world through the music. And then Chuck D was just like the speaker. Like that was his background, and he was like the speaker.
Chuck was preaching.
He was.
And like you could tell by the way they use samples, like you had a tribal sample, we're talking about a vocal sample, you got a process. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just an entire experience, and like that's what I kind of drive to do, just in my own way. Like when I made What You Willing to Do, I was watching Space Jam. Came across this psychedelic rock band from Denmark, and the song is called "Goodbye, Mr. Bobo." And it's just a real sad song about a guy who's he's perceived as a club. And like he's a drunkard, walking around starting trouble, and it's just like, man, it's time for your demise. And it's crazy you made What You Willing to Do, and it's like, man, what are you willing to do to make it? You willing to like lose yourself in it all? And we haven't talked about that at all. It just kind of happened.
And a lot of our creation comes from, when he was in Dayton, because he lives in Cincinnati now, but when we were in Dayton, it was just constant communication as far as just content, musical ideas, influence. Like, we really built a great friendship off, because I'm the kind of person that when I do music, I'm not just making music with you, just, okay, you're good at that. I don't even know you, I might not like you.
Right.
Like, it has to be some kind of like connection there where I understand we both have the same goal and whatever it is we're about to create.
Right.
Oh, you did?
So let's talk about Everybody Needs Jesus.
Okay.
Now, that was, I love that title, because when I seen it as a mixtape, right, I was like, that's something different. Because, everybody talking about, booty clapping and stuff like that.
Booty strong.
So,
That's a strong term.
I mean, that's what it is. Or female, but you came out and said, like, I'm going to be different. Everybody do need Jesus.
Right.
How did you come up with that concept?
The Everybody Needs Jesus concept grew in my brain probably around 2014, 2015, because I was I've always been like kind of a respect to the time before me kind of guy. I love like a lot of older fashion and music and culture and content. So I had a Jesus Shuttleworth jersey like my sophomore year of high school or something like that. And I remember thinking, man, I should do a project about Jesus Shuttlesworth. Because a lot of like my favorite artists, they put conceptual projects in the form of like a film or a certain point in time or something like that. So I feel like all the greats have conceptual music. You know what I'm saying? Even Ho has American Gangster. You know what I'm saying? Underground artists. I really listen to a lot of Starlito. Starlito grew off of the entire Carlito's Way movie and built stuff off of that. And he just did like a Get Out thing project and stuff like that. So I had really brought it to fruition because I knew he would be able to execute it well. I knew we were in the same headspace to where we would be able to make that idea come across great. And I was studying a lot of different kind of marketing plans at the time. I was digging into Ross, I was digging into like his entire marketing scheme for the Rather You Than Me project and the way he was just constructing everything, as well as Nip. When Nip did the Marathon Mondays or everything leading up to Victory Lap, I was consuming a lot of good information as far as how you can package something and really give it to the people in a way where they're going to appreciate exactly what you're saying.
Like what Kanye West did with College Dropout, the late registration, graduation, and then
that's crazy.
That's more.
Yeah, so I mean, I want you to experience whatever it is. I want you to feel like you're seeing whatever I'm talking about. 50 Cent did a biography called For Pieces to Wait, where he describes like when he started really getting into music through everything in his life. I actually think his real life is more interesting in the movie, but he talks about how like when he was listening to Ready to Die, I felt like Big was sitting right here telling him what was happening. And I mean, I wanted to feel like that with everything. So he and Jay came together through me having an appreciation for basketball and movies, really, and wrote out what every song was going to be called beforehand. Every beat was specifically picked for that, except for about one record that I finished post. And I wrote about 4 or 5 of those records in the same night or two. I did Godson, La La, Jake, and Head to the Sky all in like the same night, and Big Steady. Yeah. So I mean, and I was handwriting those. I wasn't on the phone with it or nothing because I wanted to just hone in. So yeah,
So do you consider yourself a freestylist artist or a lyrical artist?
What?
Because you know how Big and Tupac. Big was a freestyle artist.
Yeah.
Like he just go in the studio, drop the beat, drop it, he would freestyle. Never wrote nothing down. But since you said that you write the lyrics now to feel the emotion, I would put you in the category for lyrics.
Definitely not going without no pen and pad. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily a pen and pad, but I mean something written. It varies. The creativity varies because it's like I test myself on a lot, and I train my brain to be able to do certain things. Like when I began music, when I would do stuff with other artists, or when I'm working, I wouldn't be able to write with the beat on. So it's like you got to train your mind to be able to take in the sound as well as keep cranking. So it's like it varies. I've written like remember Black Superheroes. I wrote that without writing anything down and stuff like that. And I try it out. I switch. So.
Okay, so you like a Pac and Biggie.
Oh,
a legendary. And make it. Okay, so one of my favorite rhymes, well not rhymes, lyrics that you said, off of What You're Willing to Do.
Right.
It says, when you build a foundation, you don't need no bricks.
Right.
Explain that.
What foundation you don't need bricks? Exactly. I mean, well, that was like a little bit of a play on like there's so many people who talk about like doing this, they're not really doing like fabricated stories and stuff like that. So I mean, you build a solid foundation for yourself, and you really building something with purpose. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta tell the story. You believe in it.
Right.
So why keep it pushing? You know what I'm saying? So I mean. And I mean, just having a solid foundation in general. I'm a planner. I know what I'm gonna do when I get up in the morning. I know I pretty much do a bunch of the same things every day. They say routines can be the death of you, but you need a little bit of balance. So when you build a foundation, you don't need bricks. When it is what it is, you don't need tricks.
Okay. So what's gonna be next for you? Are you gonna go on tour? Are you gonna do more shows locally? Are you gonna do shows in a different city or what?
So And that's one of another things, the joy of social media that I've been blessing us with is, you know what I'm saying, being able to make those connections and establish good relationships with people who don't necessarily live in the area you live in. So we just locked in the 420 show with Fame and everybody. I think that's going to be a privilege or one of the other locations. So we're doing that in the city. We recently been putting together music that we've been releasing collectively. So my DJ Wavy Mo had dropped a Wavy tape in December, and we had a release for that.
Wavy Mo, I know Wavy Mo.
Yeah.
You came with South Diploma.
Yeah. Shout out to them and all the good guys over there. And so Wave had dropped the project. Me and Aleph President working on something, and me and him then picked up some other stuff. So we have been able to surpass the past music, not necessarily surpass it, but do it better and better and better. So
I can't wait.
Appreciate you.
Okay, I got one more question. That's for everybody. I want you to look in that camera, and if you could leave a message for the next generation, what would it be?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Next generation, man, don't be afraid to speak for yourself. Be free, you know. And be mindful that, you know, you got a lot of responsibility. And you don't have much time, man. So enjoy life, don't let it slip. And do something that makes you happy.
I've done this before. Next generation, do not stress yourself out. Whatever you're tripping over, it's not going to matter in the morning. Whoever you're tripping over is probably not tripping as much as you are. You know what I'm saying? Just take it easy. All you got to do is just consume everything. Be self-taught. Don't believe everything everybody says. You know what I'm saying? Look for as much information as you're looking to be given to you. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from opiates, that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Put it down, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Put the lock down.
Oh man, stay away from the opiates. That shit is not good for you. If you do herbs, just be safe with it. You know what I mean? Watch how you're moving with the social media. Use it to help you, not hurt you.
Health over wealth.
Health over wealth for sure. Make sure you stay in the gym or something. You know what I'm saying? You can eat pizza, but make sure you're running. The resale price on sneakers gotta come down. I hope y'all not going crazy on that in the future either. The resale game has to be contained. God damn it. Because, man.
Buy what you like, bro.
Dogs, just because it's hot do not mean it's hot. These niggas are lying to you. Trust me.
A lot of y'all out here looking quite foolish. A lot of leather pants.
It's a fact. You see what happened?
Sweating.
Remember leather snapbacks? Where did that shit go?
And y'all don't have OGs, so y'all don't know about baby powder or nothing like that. So it's just
Damn, that's
nasty.
another thing, man. Y'all gotta find you some old heads, man. Like, even if you can't find them old heads, I know for a fact, man, I gravitated to what I felt like I was learning from. I felt like was teaching me. I felt like 50 and them was teaching me. I felt like I was learning from a lot of people who just happen to be rappers.
Kanye still teaching me, bro.
Literally. So it's like, and the more you mature, you learn more about the stuff you thought you knew about. You know what I'm saying? It's, dang, man, when Gucci dropped the book, I looked at Gucci completely different now. I listen to his music in a completely different way. So
Everything clicks. When you build the foundation, you don't need bricks. When it is what it is, you don't need tricks. You ain't got a perk when you saying real shit. I know all my real niggas feel less. So what you willing to do? So what you willing to do? I heard your lil pump and it ain't make a sound. I'm trapping like the old Gucci when I'm in your town. My nigga brought his own pound, you can't give me pound. I'm in the city with your bitches adjusting my crown. We don't give you niggas props, I'm coming off like the lots. Do the Jada Kiss laugh when I come on your block. Then you hear my new shit if you think that you hot. Old niggas in my city fighting over their spot. Back in 2008 is when these niggas was hot. Oh, now you popping mollies, now you super hockey. Read a couple books, now you think you God body. I got the God flow, I'm the